you have in your organization. So those data it should be shared, not be shared across anything, anybody, right? It be shared with only specific persons. And today's network, the security is a main concern. So you don't know. So I'm working on Palo Alto, is a world leading firewall. So I want to tell you something. Your Android mobiles are no more secure. No phones are secured, but Androids are no more secured. So whatever the data, you can say you have data in your mobile, but the data can be managed by anyone. So you need to secure your data. So especially when you are working on enterprise network and a company, so that data, company data, so a finance will be there, marketing team will be there. There are so many informations will be there on the, organization information will be there. You need to secure the data. Means external or any intruder or anybody unknown, unauthorized person should not access that data. So you need to secure that data. How you will secure the data? By using many devices like firewalls, a proxy, an antivirus on your machine, local machine. So like that. So currently, I will concentrate only for the firewalls. The firewalls, I think nobody have seen firewalls. Even in your machine also, if you type Windows button and type firewall, there will be a inbuilt Windows firewall will be there. Means if anybody change the content or anything on your Microsoft applications, so it will identify, it will block in the operating system level. So but that will be not more secure. Means your inbuilt firewall, Windows firewall will not that much secured. You can configure there also. You can block if there will be inbound role or inbound role and outbound role. You can configure there. But if you configure something, no, you can't access. You don't know. You don't have any idea. So that's why what we'll do. We will have appliance based firewall. So that device will connect in the network. Usually they'll say it is a perimeter device. It will be running on the network. So and the design. So we'll use a firewall where the internet links are connected. So one part. So I'll show that. I'll take Visio. I used to design the network by using this tool. Oh shit. I think license got expired. Oh, sorry, my license got expired. So like this it will be. So your firewall and your router, your switch. Sorry, usually while designing, 1 second. So first I'll choose, yeah, just take, this is your computer and this is your switch and this is your router and this is your firewall. Okay, so these devices will be interconnected like this. So switch is a 24 port switch. Your computers are connected like this, and the firewall will be connected like this. So this firewall, one port I'm using for the LAN connectivity. This part, below this part, is completely your organization. This is called a LAN, local area network. Okay, so above this firewall, if you have 5 ports, you can terminate 3 links. So these will be terminated with internet links, and you can do a load balance here. So this part of a network is called as WAN, wide area network. So this, in firewall terminology, we will call it as this part as untrusted network, this part as a trusted network. So whatever the traffic inside the organization, all will be trusted. So whatever the traffic is going from inside to outside, the firewall will inspect that data and send. Whatever traffic coming from outside to inside, that will also be inspected by this firewall. So if any malicious content, anything are there, it will drop based on your rules. If you configure any rules, to allow or block the traffic. So it will be depends on that. Okay, so usually we will design like this. This is a basic design. Suppose 100 computers, so you need to put one more switch, 48 port switch, one more 48 port switch, and connect those, and you have to give a uplink from here to here, here to here, like this it will be. Sorry, I don't have Visio. I think license got expired yesterday. Okay, so basically firewalls will do encryption of the data, means nobody can read that data, and it will also do a decryption of the data. So it can be achieved by cryptographic method. Okay, so I'll show that in detail. Yeah, so you'll understand here how the general firewalls will be designed. So suppose here I'm taking the Palo Alto general architecture, firewall architecture. So how it will, the designs will be, they will design the firewall. So this part is a cloud. So it will be on the Palo Alto data center. I mean, if I'm using a Palo Alto firewall, Cisco is there, Palo Alto is there, Juniper is there, Checkpoint, so many firewalls are there in the market. So Palo Alto is world leading firewall. So I'm taking general architecture. All firewalls will be work like this. This is standard. So Palo Alto data centers have threat intelligence cloud. So it will be connected through an internet link, and this is your organization. Your organization have one firewall, Palo Alto firewall, we recently bought, and you have kept the firewall, and you have connected, and you have computer endpoint. Okay, so suppose this device want the Google or anything access, or suppose if he is this device downloading some PDF file. So with that PDF file, if any malicious content downloaded, that traffic will come to firewall to this. This firewall will identify, so what is the content inside. So to identify what is the content inside, so an IDP or IDP signatures, I mean IDP module will be there. So it will inspect the traffic. So it will check. So means the firewall, if any threats are there in that file, so immediately it will block. It will block here. So if a newly generated virus or newly new software or new threat has been generated and is trying to download this machine, so it doesn't know whether it is a threat or whatever. What at that time what it will do, it will send one copy of that file to a cloud. So there will be a backend R&D team. So they will check. They will continually monitoring this one. They will check. Yeah, there is a new file found. So they will check and correlate with the all other data which you have. The powerful machines will be there. They will correlate with that data. If any new malicious content or any new signatures to I get the information of this user, find on the data center, they will write the code to block that, and they will push through this cloud to these firewalls. So suppose I'm using a firewall in Happiest Minds, and TCS also using, Infosys also using, your ATME college is also using the same kind of firewall. Suppose if any virus or any threat or any malicious content found on the URLs or whatever, so if it is identify this firewall, it will send to the cloud. The signature will be applied by the R&D team. It will upload. It will push to this firewall as well as all the other Palo Alto firewalls all over the world to block that. Immediately it will update. So every 2 minutes, every 2 hours, every 24 hours, so that signatures will be applied. Every content will be scanned. If you are downloading any video, audio, whatever, every content will be scanned and sent. It is like an airport authority security check. So one person, if you enter into the airport authority, so only one time one person will not check this security things, right? So multiple times they will check the means they will check your bag or your mobile things. They'll scan. So RF scan or X-ray scan. They'll do a lot of things to find what is there any malicious things or whatever metal or anything there. So same kind of things the firewalls will do. So that's how for that we will call it as IPS, intrusion prevention system and intrusion detection system. Usually IPS have two modules. One is the intrusion detection and intrusion prevention is combined called intrusion prevention system or intrusion prevention service. Okay. So this architecture is also called three-tier architecture. If any machine already got attacked, okay, so I'll go to home, I'll connect to my home network, this public network is not secured. I'll download some file, I'll install that file have malicious contents. I'll come back to office, I'll connect to the network. So immediately while communication starts with the firewall will identify this threat and send to the cloud. Also it will give an alert to the who is managing the assets. Suppose your IT team managing this firewall, so it will show that who is having that device and what virus are there, what threat has been detected. So immediately that IT person should come contact with user and they'll do AV scan, antivirus scan. They'll remove unwanted files on that. So that's how the security will be managed. So it should not affect. So suppose if any machine got affected, this firewall is not doing this, that virus will traverse through your local area network and it will affect to your entire network. Recently, I think you have heard about ransomware. So ransomware, it is a threat. So threat is nothing but they are asking for some favor. Maybe it is some money or some work or something from you. So they will develop some code. They'll add that code into your any software. While you're downloading, that will come to your machine, and it will, when you click install, that will be installed on your machine. It will do. And some viruses are there. So that viruses, suppose if you're downloading some softwares like Visual Studio or C, Turbo C, whatever, some files or Cadence software, that files contains malicious contents. I mean, some virus. So what it will do, some virus, they will not activate for 100 days or 150 days or 200 days. So it will be there in your operating system and it will monitor what are you doing every day, what applications you will use, whether you are opening bank application, net banking, whether you are entering your credit card information, debit card information, net banking information, everything will be captured and compressed and it will store on somewhere. Okay, it will monitor for some days, 50 days, 100 days, how they will develop the program. Till the time it will compress, I mean, it will monitor your activities. It will store all, it will capture all the information. It will store on your machine. So once that date expires, means time expires, automatically that software opens. Means software will automatically active on your machine and it will transmit whatever the data collected from past days, few days, or past 100 days, whatever is collected data, that information will be transmitted to the users. Means that intruder. So those kind of things can be blocked. So all firewalls, whatever the firewalls, they have to use, I mean, the design architecture will be like this. So network, endpoint, cloud, these are synchronized always, 24/7 it will be synchronized. It will inspect all the traffic, enables, and if you're using any application, it will enable the security for that. If you have found unknown threats, it will block it. If you found unknown threats, it will immediately send to the cloud. It will block it here, and it will. If you're downloading files, also it will inspect the files. So Palo Alto URL filtering. There are around 200 types of URLs are there, categories. Suppose if you are Google, it is a browsing category. You are using Facebook or YouTube, it is entertainment category. So like that, so many URLs are there. It will be categorized based on what kind of application it is, what's the purpose of use. So around 200 kinds of applications, 200 kinds of categories. Palo Alto is the most efficient firewall. It will identify 72 types of URL categories. Okay, and it will block. So I'll show you in the firewall. Once I logged in. Okay, so this is how the general architecture will be. If any unknown threat or virus or any content found, so it will be sent to the threat intelligence cloud. That will be in the data center somewhere, who's managing by that firewall vendor. So they will update a signature. It will be updated automatically. So for this, IPS or IDS should be installed. That IPS, I mean intrusion prevention system, should have the license to this. If a license expired, that antivirus or to block the codes which are generated by this, it will not be updated to your firewall. So that per year license, you need to spend much money on that. So how it will identify? So that functions will be done by IPS, intrusion prevention system. That intrusion prevention system contains antivirus, anti-spam, vulnerability protection, file blocking, URL filtering, and DOS protection. Antivirus, so I already explained any virus. And so if you're downloading any files, so there will be some content in that. Okay, so and anti-spyware, anti-spam. So if you're sending an email and with an attachment, so you can see some mails will go to spam. So you can see some email saying that you won $100,000 if you say give your this information to us, we will give debit to your account. Kindly share your information like this. So anti-spam. So vulnerability means already attacked. Your machine is already virus or something is installed on your machine. It is vulnerable. So if you connect it to a network, it's vulnerable to your network. So that computer will collect all the other computer information and it will send to whoever is developed that. So on file blocking. So file blocking in the firewall is while downloading the file. So there are many types of files. So .exe is executable files. .txt is a txt files. .dll are Microsoft data link library files. .rar, .zip, .7zip. So .rar in Java code, .js it will be. So many kinds of dot extension, the file extension will be there. So if you want to block .exe, .java files, some spyware and shareware will be there. Those files extensions you can block. Zip files. So when you are downloading a zip, so that zip contains maybe some information, also some unwanted, unknown threat information also. When you open that zip file, so automatically all other information, I mean, with your required information also, the unwanted information also will be executed on your machine. That is vulnerable to your network. So we can block based on the file extensions on the firewalls and the URL filtering. So as I said, so many URLs, pornography, abortion, gaming, gambling. So it depends on the categories they have designed. So if you want to allow only specific URL kinds category, you can allow it. Remaining things you can block it. I'll show you that. And the DOS protection. DOS protection is used for a server side. Suppose you have a email server, you have 100 employees. So that email server inside your organization, maybe it is in the DMZ network. I mean, it should communicate to outside also. Means email server not only accessed by inside the organization. So outside also your email server should be accessed. So it will be kept in separate zone or in separate, I mean in the network, it will be network only, but it will be demilitarized zone. It should communicate to internal and external network. So if someone sending a traffic, I mean, they got to know this is the email server. It is some have ports open. So with that port, they'll send millions of requests to that server, 10,000 requests to that server. So to make that server as busy. So when you are at that time, if DOS attacks happened, so nobody can access that. The server will always be busy. Even firewall also. Firewall is connected to external network. I mean, in public network. I mean, internet links. So to that firewall also, if they are sending a flood, a TCP flood or sync flood or any unwanted information continuously with millions of requests, so that firewall will be busy. The firewall will not function. The entire network will be vanished. So to protect the devices in the network, protect the devices in the, protect the servers in the network, we will use the DOS protection. I think you understand antivirus, anti-spam vulnerability, file blocking, and URL filtering. I'll show a few details. And this is a virtual private network. So as I discussed, so many vulnerabilities will be there. Suppose you go to Coffee Day. You sit in the Coffee Day with your company laptop, you want to send an email. or you want to access some urgent data, maybe your HRMS. So you want to download your payslip, you want to upload some information or company code. You as software developer, you have generated some code, you need to upload to your FTP server, which is inside your office. So at that time, so if it's publicly open, if you're sitting in a coffee day or any public network railway station, wherever, if you open or if you connected to home network also, it is a public network, considered as a public network. So that information can be see by any person in between, right? Because you are sitting in a home or in public network, your office will be in somewhere, or you are sitting in a hotel. So you are trying to access your private network, I mean FTP server, file server, something. So it will be not secured. So many other person. So if you're sitting in a coffee day, that person may be plugged some device which will collect whatever the traffic is going from his network to any network. So it will collect the information. It will see maybe it is have banking information also, your company information. Those are precious data. So you want to protect that data, or you want to access that data securely via public network. So at that time, so we will use nowadays from past almost 4-5 months, we are working from home. So we will connect to the office network. We'll working from home. So our home network is no more secure. We know we can download anything, right? So I want to connect from my home to my office securely. So I'll use a virtual private network. Virtual private is nothing but it will give us security. Maybe you need to install some security application to encrypt your data and send. Or you may need some server based encryption methods. So it will give an encrypted connection. Virtual private network means even though you are sitting in a public network, your machine will be virtually on in your office. Means all your traffic may go to your office networks. Means while you're accessing the office data, the traffic will be encrypted and sent to office. So while accessing some Google or internet or your personal purpose data, that will go to your home network. So like that it will be. So those can be achieved by virtual private network. Nowadays, even I am using virtual private network. So in virtual private network, there are many things. I mean, widely used. I'll talk. So IPsec VPN. IPsec VPN used to be used between two private entities. So suppose I have I'm in Happiest Minds. I want to communicate to ATME college. So I am developing some application for ATME college. So I want to access that server is in ATME college. I want to do so many codes or something to on that server to make their applications work. So I want to access that data securely. So how I'll access? So ATME college have internet. My companies also have internet. What I'll do, between these ATME college and the Happiest Minds, I'll create a VPN tunnel, a secure tunnel. So whatever the data traversing from these two entities will be secure. It will be encrypted. Nobody can see that data. Okay. So this is called a site-to-site VPN. Means one entity, another entity should communicate via any public network with a security called a site-to-site tunnel. So we will use between site to site. So even our projects we have handling across Middle East countries, UK, US. So it is very far, right? So we will use this IPsec VPN tunnel to encrypt the data. I mean, access that data securely. Another one is SSL VPN. SSL VPN is nothing but a secure socket layer VPN. There will be an application or a client software. It will be downloaded from your server or from your firewall. It will be installed on your machine. So whatever the data, whatever the things you are doing, it will be encrypted and it will send. So for SSL encryption, I can say you are sitting in a public network and you are opening your banking sites. So I'll show you that. So in SSL VPN, I think you can see I'm using a Global Protect VPN. This is also an SSL VPN. Means there is a software called Global Protect. I'll download it from my Palo Alto firewall and install on the machine. This is the gateway. I'll connect from that. Connect to this. Once I connected, my machine will be virtually on my network. All data will be encrypted. So I'll give one more example. So if I'm using any banking, suppose if I'm using Axis Bank, once the connection established, see, once the connection established, so I'll click axisbank.com. It will communicate to the Axis Bank server. So it's once connection established. Okay. So you can see there is a lock icon in the backside of that URL. If you click on that, you can see the certificate. So this certificate is a geo-trusted CA certificate. Certificate authority is signed by this. This certificate is valid from 2020, some March 6 to 2021, February 9th. Okay. So you can check what is the version of that, what is the signature algorithm they are using, what is the hashing method they are using. So to these and all to encrypt the data. So if you are using 256 RSA to, if someone copied that in between these two servers, there may be multiple devices you should pass, right? So if someone captured those information, that is a completely encrypted data. So to decrypt that data, if you are using 256 key and 256-bit key to decrypt that data, here he may need a powerful computer with 10 to 20 years. Okay, so I'll explain. I'll show you in IPsec tunnel some funny things. I mean, it's not a funny things. So how our security is enhanced on network. Till how we have 20 types of major attacks are there in the world. So every day, every year they are closing. I mean, they have finding some solution for those attacks. Till today, only 4 they fixed. Still, we have 16 major kinds of attacks in the world. Okay, so these are the keys. Even I also doesn't know because it's a cryptography keys, but few things we'll use in our security. So this is signatures, hashing algorithm. This is the encryption key. So that encryption key will be some random key. That's a private key. It will to encrypt the data. So once you connect Axis Bank server, the server will send a certificate to your browser only for this session. So if you are using one more session axisbank.com, so it will create one more session. So but if you can't log in at a time both the sessions, so it will show already you are logged into the machine. So that certificate will identify that. So already you have a session running with this. So this, once you establish the connection, means once you are trying to log in with your credentials, that will be secured. That certificate means that CA certificate is signed by some authority, like means maybe the Symantec, HAL, Google. I mean, cryptography will develop the cryptographic codes. They will sign that certificate. It's the electronic code, and they will install on that certificate on the server. Okay, once the server when one clients are requested the establish the trying to communicate the server will send that certificate to your browser. Also, browser should have some versions and compatibility. If your browser is not compatible, it will throw a browser is not compatible. So that everything will be coded on that certificate. Okay, so it will that server will send a certificate. Your data will be means that certificate will run until the session closes. So every data what you are entering the data, what personal password, everything will be encrypted with that certificate and sent to the server. The server will communicate with each other. So this is how SSL VPN also works, and SSL applications will also work. Means banking applications and all will work on SSL certificate. Okay. So I think we can see who is that authorized. I mean, who signed the signature for that certificate. Let me check. Yep, issue a statement. If you check, sorry. So this is developed for Axis Bank RCA. The certificate designed on 2018. The certificate. Here sometimes we'll see who is issued the certificate. Even Google also secured. Sometimes we'll get that those information also. Who provided that certificate? Issued by, yep. The certificate issued by google.com. Even for Axis Bank and all, Symantec or Google or some certification authority there, they'll give that certificate. I mean, sign that certificate. Once you install, that will be valid for till that date. Okay, now we'll move. So SSL VPN. This is about SSL VPN. SSL application will be there. A client to site. This is client to site. Even client is nothing but me or any user who is working in any public network. Some employees, they will travel in the train, they will connect to dongle. So he'll also connect by using this SSL VPN. So this is between site to site. IPsec is between site and site to site, branch to branch. SSL VPN between client to the site, any user to site. And PPTP and L2TP VPN are same. So these are server-based VPNs. These are less compared as less secured as compared to IPsec and SSL VPN. But still, till today, we'll use this certificate. Even I am using. I have configured some Happiest Minds VPN. So there will be some virtual server. It will give an encryption, decryption certificate. I mean methods. So now I'll show you. Before that, I want to log into firewall. Another 15 minutes, I'll take the session. After that, I'll close. So I'll show you. Before that, I want to log in and I'll pause the video. Okay, I'll reshare it once I logged into the firewall. What's that?